Hello and welcome to another tutorial from webdomainnow.com. In today's tutorial, we're going to be discussing how to add content to your site. If you were following along from our Getting Started video, you understand how we got to this point. And this is just a basic layout that Wix provides for a blank template. So today we're going to add content to the template. Now, I've selected my home page, and as you know, there are separate pages here, and I don't know if you can see them launching on here, but they do have separate individual navigation and pages. So on my home page, I'd like to go ahead and add some content so I can sort of get started on what I want to put on my site. So in order to do that, I have to actually add some pictures, I have to add some text, and I'll have to add some documentation in some instances so we can plug them into our site for people to download. So it's a pretty simple process. On the navigation on the left hand side, I can scroll over these little tabs, and then a pop-up menu will show a context area where I can load community pics or Wix pics, and these are free stock photography, if you will, that you can use within your site. So I'm going to go ahead and use some of this because it really is helpful to get us started. Then I'll also show you how to load some of your own pictures and things like that, just so you understand the principles of doing that. So to get started, I'm going to go ahead and use one of these stock photos, and I'm going to make a header banner for my website here. And if you notice, when I stretch this picture out, it expands in weird ways. Like, it seems to stretch and do weird stuff and fill out the picture with the proper format, if you will. Wix has a pretty cool setup. If you double click the picture within the frame, you'll notice that the whole picture here is outside of the frame, but it's not visible. This is called a mask, and by masking the photographs in these areas, you can make the photograph, you can get kind of work for you within the graphic setup that you're trying to do. So on my home page here, rather than showing this whole big bland orange area around this cup of coffee, I can actually shrink it down to where it's just a little bit of a title bar. I can take off the frame by clicking the frame section and say no frame, and as you can see, it fills the border of my page. Now, something to really pay attention to, if you notice where my picture is now, there's little yellow triangles with a large yellow rectangle on the outside perimeter of my website. Now if I move this just to the inside, it changes. Now the difference between those two rectangles is the outside edge of my website itself and the inside border or edge of the page or my home page itself. So if I want to make sure that this picture shows up only on the home page, I want to make sure that I drag it not here where it's on the entire page, but rather here where it's inside this particular page. And you'll have to make sure that if you look over here on the right, you'll notice all these pages are here, and I scroll over them and they'll highlight in a light blue, but the dark blue one is the one that I am currently on, and that's really important whenever you're adding content to your page. So this is a good place to start. I've got a nice little web banner here, and I'm going to go ahead and add a title bar, and text is real simple. You just scroll over here in the add section, click on text, and go to title, and it launches this subtext menu here. Now this menu here has a few of the font choices that Wix has available. Generally what I do is just pick the first one and I change it later once I'm ready to format my text. So I'll just simply title this page Home, and then position the text where I would like it to be, and we're good to go. So that's a nice little title bar. It's real clean. These are stock photography that I'm using from Wix themselves, so it doesn't cost me anything, and I can really get a nice graphical interface for my end users that are going to be visiting my new website. So so far we've added a picture and we've added title text. So in our next tutorial, we're going to cover adding text boxes to fulfill the content needs of our website. So stay tuned, and thank you for joining me.